Hey, welcome back to this episode of From Dirt We Grow. I am so happy to have you here, and I am also happy to invite back a guest that was on. It was a while ago. It was a couple months ago, wasn't it, Miss
I
Kelsey?
think it was in April, and I'm so happy to be back. Thank you so much for contacting me.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. When we stopped last time, we were recording and we were like, okay, let's wrap it, and then we kept talking. We just were chatting and stuff, and we
Yeah,
came up and you were bringing up some really good points, and we were just having a conversation. I'm like, dang it, I should have kept recording. Yeah, how have you been?
I've been good, been keeping busy, kind of working on some new stuff and trying to just kind of expand and, outward and upward. So that's the goal, right?
Yes, and actually, you reminded me that I need to probably give her a reminder here. So you are the medium. You were on the episode a while ago. Do you believe in ghosts? The medium provides medicine for the soul. If you haven't checked that episode out, please do so at some point. But it was awesome. It was really enlightening, and I find that realm very interesting. So that's why I was like, I don't even care if it pertains to my show. Like, I just want to talk to you.
And you know what? It can be like expanded into everything. And I think this is what boils down to our conversation today. I was walking down the hallway when I came coming on here, and I just going back to communication and what it can bring to us and what it can bring to our worlds. And it's so funny. So I began my mediumship, and I was sitting with another medium, and we were talking about the chakras, which to some is like a little bit out there. They're like, okay, the chakras, right? And at the end of the day, it's all energy. And I had to sit in my space of like mediumship, and he was like, "Tell me what's your most interested, like the most interesting chakra is to you." I answered my favorite and then my least interesting one, which was true to being like my least interesting one to my kind of like human self, or like my kind of uninformed self, was the throat chakra, which is all about communication. It was because it just seems boring, right? But the more I dove in and the more I learned and the more I understood this like higher self of mine, is that communication is actually everything. Really, without it, we are not integrated with ourselves. We are not informed of ourselves and in passing others. You know what I mean? So it all boils down to this connection, our ability to talk, our ability to really connect with ourselves and with others and with the community around us. It's all about communication, baby. So
The saying communication is key is not a saying for no reason. So yeah, absolutely. That's a very good point that we need more communication amongst us these days, especially now with the divide that is so ultra highlighted. The many divides. There's so many. Okay, we were talking you were telling us about, not to get back into that. I just wanted to ask you real quick. Talking about politics today. Last time it was your gift, and but I do want to ask you real quick, because you
yeah,
had brought up how it changes. It
evolves. It's
evolves. That's the word. Thank you. Have you noticed any kind of evolution in your abilities since we last spoke?
all the time. I learn something new about myself. I learn something new about what I'm being informed about, new ways of connecting, new ways of understanding and rationalizing what I'm seeing, hearing, and experiencing. Yeah, there's things like that I get clarity on, and I try to continue to work with myself to integrate all of my senses at once, because sometimes it can feel like I'm hearing very clearly, like auditory. Sometimes it can feel like my sensory is stronger in a given day. And so what I strive to be is like in a little bit more of a complete version, where like all of my senses are kind of unique and strong, kind of sitting in the same seat. Like I said, kind of this feeling of a vibration or sensing, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I work to kind of integrate all of these formalities, I guess, in myself. So, and guess more understanding and settlement in my own space.
Like I said, when we left off last time, we ended the show and then we continued our conversation. And you brought up something that I think I will find very interesting, that people might also find very interesting. And it's not like a happy topic or anything, but it's about, you were talking about babies and abortions and miscarriages.
Well, it's not a happy topic. There's certain things in life and death that they just are. This is life. Like
Yeah.
people pass, and people pass at all ages in all different ways, and it just is, right? I get a lot of people who connect through. I will receive the person on the other side as, you know, someone who is a baby who has been like gone through an abortion or they've gone through a miscarriage. So even if it's an early term abortion, so this is where I know there's a hot button topic on is like, are we in a sense taking a life when we go through an abortion, or if we have a miscarriage? The simple form of an answer is really yes. Like there is a soul tied to this embryo as soon as we incubate. Like it's there, it is there. With that being said, do I respect and support that if someone feels like that's their time and it's their choice? Like it is. This is sometimes like when people come through and they have been in a position where they had an abortion, they're like, this was just my life. This was my path. And it's okay. They're okay, like on the spiritual side of things, and they have another chance. So I see life as in reincarnation. So, and that's how what I've received from the spiritual census is that people do reincarnate, and that when they come from the other side, whatever it is, and that's where they're supposed to be. So this is a direct topic to, you know what I mean, kind of formulating maybe an opinion. Some people have strong opinions on, that's the answer. We're taking life. But I will tell you one thing on the spiritual end of things, when they come through, they're okay. They're like, this was my path. Still no definite answer.
Right. No help. No. No, but it is actually helpful. I feel.
I see all babies as like 2-year-olds. For some reason, like they come through as a youthful spirit, but they come in enough to translate. So it's even in a translation from a 2-year-old there to a 2-year-old here is in its sense much more forms. So like you're not talking dialogue with like a toddler here, but I see the shape and the energy as somebody very small, but somebody still able. They're able to communicate because communication at such a young age doesn't need to be tangible to language, right? There's still energy that surrounds their ability to dictate, you know what I mean? So they're able to give me fluid responses. Like I understand them, but in the same sense of like all of spirituality and kind of this linear translation or lack thereof, like you can get sentences from all different languages, you know what I mean? Like I'm not limited to English because that's our form, like that's human. They talk to you through descriptions, through like essences. So you can like hear a description, but also feel a sense and a connection at the same time where you can hear, I have a ball. Like this is very simple and this doesn't really ever exactly say this, but it's the same thing of saying like, I have a ball. And in the same sentence, you understand that they have a ball, but you also just know the ball is blue. You just know the shade of the color because they kind of pass you this information through like a feeling, through like an essence.
Is that the same with adults though? Like you'd feel, do you sit there and like have conversations with adult spirits or is it all through essence?
No, so it goes through both ways. It goes through both channels. So it's like an essence and it's a verbal communication.
Do you kind of feel like you're in another world, like when you're talking to them, or are they here?
Feel that way.
You know what I mean? Like
a little bit of both. I can kind of balance, I would say. So it can feel like a disconnect from people that surround me in the actual world that I sit in. And that's why mediums and psychics, you know, we try not to just always be there. Because then I'm like, I'm listening to them. I'm not necessarily listening to maybe what's going on around me because I'm in the zone. But sometimes when I'm in my best state, it does quite literally feel like someone's just sitting there. And the way that I best describe it, like I had a reading recently and it kind of clicked for me to describe it. I'm like sitting across from this woman, this young woman, and I can feel her father sitting there with us. And how do I feel it? And it was so cool because it was just so strong in that time. This is why I try to like clear my head out and be really grounded. And with the best way I can describe it is if you feel the feeling of a buzzing of like bass music, like of a strong sound, and you feel like that instrument, and you feel the earth, you feel the air around you. It's like, and you can feel it in your chest. It's like that sensation of the sound wave buzzing, but it's sitting right next to me. It's almost like I'm just like hypersensitive to the speakers that are spirituality. You know what I mean? They're
Wow.
setting off their own subwoofer, and I'm heightened enough that I can feel that vibration.
Is this something people are born with, or do you develop it, or how does that work?
In a sense, both. So it's something to be spoken about, being kind of born with it and being more heightened, like being more sensitive. Just like anyone is maybe more sensitive to, one thing in this world, like you might be born with like a food sensitivity, you know what I mean? Something like something you just kind of have, but without understanding it, it may lay dormant without
Yeah, without
exploring.
tapping into it, or
You don't understand what it could become. Yeah. So I spent a lot of years not really engaging in this and not really understanding my potential of unlocking these doors. So I kind of put it to the side. And then, like, as the years went by, I realized in other ways of my life, like, I was channeling, and like sometimes you just kind of knew things and you're like, I don't really know how I know that. I don't know where I'm receiving my information from. And then I got sick, and I was really sick with COVID and my immune system, and it forced me to be silent. It forced me to be still. Like I couldn't even like breathe. Like I could, you know what I mean? Like, and in stillness, this is why I tell people like to slow down, because you don't know what you're missing in your world, in your own space, in your own head. Then like this, and it took some time, and it really took finding myself. And then this connection came in so strong, and I was like, and all these things started to come back even stronger. And I was like, oh, okay, like I thought I was losing my mind, but like I figured out what was going on. And then I, started to talk to other people, and I was, put in a position to do some readings, and they were very accurate. Things they never would have been able to know about their ancestors, and like how they died, and like what they were like, and like describing objects that they left their family. Like, you know what I mean? Shit, you can't just look up. Like,
read me right now.
oh my God, Grandma says hi. Mom's Grandma says hi.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Mom's side. She's strong, white, good. She's a good soul too.
Oh my God.
Were you very close when she passed? Like, quite literally?
I was in jail.
Okay. Because she says she was close in your arms, though. So if you really kept her like lovingly in your heart, because she said she was close in your arms.
She died at our home, at mom's home, my parents'
Okay.
house.
She says, because she's like, I was close in their arms, close in your arms.
Oh my God, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's insane.
She's a very strong one for you. She was a good soul too.
Is she like here?
Always. She dresses in white, she says. So, would she always wear white?
A lot.
Yeah.
She had these like white pants, and I don't know. I just when you said white, I just remember those pants. Oh
She
my
wears white,
gosh.
and she's up in the air, but she's still around.
I didn't expect that when I said do me, do me. I didn't even expect that. Oh my God, thank you for that. Wow. That's insane. Uh, just that little
She
bit was very powerful. I can't imagine a whole reading. Oh my gosh.
she is always with you though, and she's still around you, standing strong, trying to get you to drop a little bit more habits still too. You got more habits to put down, but you're still going strong.
Wow.
If you don't have two kids, I wouldn't be surprised if you have two.
I have two kids.
Okay. She said you're gonna be a good mom, strong mom for two.
Oh my God. Kelsey. Oh, I wasn't ready for this. Oh my gosh, I appreciate it so much. I wasn't expecting it, but that's amazing. All right. On with the show. Thank you for that. And I said we weren't even going to talk about this, but the more you talked, like I kept having more questions, and I just had to know. And I'm like, yeah, I got another question.
Organically.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm still. All right. Back to the topic here. you brought up some really, really, really good points about uniting this divide. It's so unbelievably large and deep lately. You brought up some good points, and I kind of jotted them down so we would remember if we ever did do another show here. Do you remember what they were, or should I
Yeah.
remind you?
No, I'll tell you because this is how I feel.
Yeah.
There is a communication gap in the community. There's like kind of there's a bridge that really needs to kind of like segue us to one another, and we sit so far on either side of the seat in as Democrats or as Republicans as a general conform in society. And I find that like anything else, if you boil it down, being able to understand and respect that each and every one of us has our own opinions and our own experiences. Because if you think about what shapes us, like I am not, I don't have all the experiences that like another portion of society has, and vice versa. And that could be higher class or lower class, or you know what I mean, minorities. And like that is just the fact. Like we have different experiences, and being able to like give a voice to that, I think a lot of like what's lacking out there is like a lack of understanding of what all of these areas in life, like what people have gone through and what people have seen, and that in regard like completely builds their perception of what should be done and how we are to do it. And you know, I have fears of my life. I have fears of others' lives, or I have understandings about like how and what we can maybe do to kind of protect ourselves in society. With that being said, like I don't have all the answers and nobody does. So I think that part of it is like understanding that, you know, people in power, they say that they have these answers. They say that they can get the job done. But sometimes just recognizing that like we have a problem, being able to give a voice from the experience of the people that it surrounds, and kind of like making that understanding. Like I think some of these movements people don't understand. There's a lot of white people that did not understand the Black Lives Matter movement, and they're like, they don't understand that these people were, yes, okay, the slavery was abolished, but then they were put into like hoods, and that like they were pretty much left up to kind of dry, and like they were like introduced to drugs, and like that kind of like lived through some generations. Like there's white people that don't understand that, and then there's like this like kind of instability with peace back and forth, because you know now there's like prejudice against like white people because they've had access to this, that, and another thing, and that we still just like the seats so far apart. And I think kind of bridging the gap with a little bit of like understanding and communication and compassion would really go a long way favorably in our society, and I think there's a lot of like gaps in people understanding each other and where we all kind of come from.
That's another key word. You said communication, and understanding is another one. Like instead of fearing the unknown or fearing what's different, yeah, try to understand it. So I wanted to ask you, because you kind of like hinted at it a little bit. Do you believe there's such thing as white privilege?
I do. I definitely have seen like that being like kind of in a sense just like white, that people do like I've seen racism without people knowing they're being racist. Like I have one of my best friends is very dark Indian, and he just being Indian, like he gets different like treatment, and I have like sometimes it's even as small as like people just pointing out, I don't know, the fact that he's a brown guy in his words, like, you know what I mean? But like I try to like not even think about that, you know what I mean? Like you're my friend, you're just my friend, and like we talk about some of our cultural and societal like differences. Like growing up, it is like always interesting to like hear he grew up in India, and like we have two very different lives, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I thrive finding the similarities and just treating like this person as just like my friend. You don't need to be my brown friend, as he calls himself. He's like my brown friend. You're just my friend, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, if more people looked at people that way and like you're a person, not a white person, you're a person, not a black person, you know. You know what
Yes.
I mean? Like,
We'll have
not
each
to
other.
say that we can't see their color, but it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be their identity. So, yeah.
Beautiful about giving that like I know like people are proud, right? Like, and there should be. And so there's like the cultural side of things to like respect your heritage, respect your background. But I think in a common conversation, just being like, you know, oh yeah, I saw the black guy go to like, you know what I mean, do whatever. Like I saw the white chick, like what, you know what I mean? Just like those things, I think if we have
How
a
about
little.
the girl with the purple shirt? Or, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah, exactly.
What I wanted to say about white privilege, and it's not so much that it's something that is on purpose, like it's on purpose because it started that way, but I mean, it's just kind of written into our code as a country. Like it's just there. And it's
Yeah,
not like it's something that we ask for as white people. It's just something that's done because that's how
yeah.
they've been doing it.
And that's where like I think this sense of like backlash towards like white people, like I think that we're not they're seeking this privilege or hoping that like I get chosen over somebody else, but to acknowledge that like I've seen it, and it's not even something. If I feel like being around more of a diverse group is when it shows, because you hear the stories. And this is why, again, we're going to go back to communication. Like hearing the stories and experiences of like my friends like is really what gave it understanding to me, because I think like as we're going a lot like going about our lives, we wouldn't necessarily like wrap our heads around it until we heard and saw it in our peers. You know what I mean? And I think that's why giving a voice to these things is such an important task. You know what I mean? That we have to like, the really have to kind of integrate into our world.
What is the solution?
I I told
I wish we all
I
knew that one, right?
like I feel like it's pushing more of these central parties, you know. And I love like I'm all for immigration. I have friends that are trying to have tried to get their green cards, and it's sad because it's so hard. And they're here working, and they're here to try to stay. And what they have to go through is just like I still like I'm like you're gonna have to explain it to me like 700 times, like what you've had to go through in the process. I hate to see it. With that being said, I do like want I do think we need to have certain level of border control, but it's either on one end or the other. It's either like we're pouring in people to the country or making it impossible for people to work and stay. And so that's what I'm like being able to kind of like find a middle ground, because immigration is so important. Like I love people, and I love from like all different countries, all different cultural backgrounds. I'm friends with them all. But it can't be a rotating door into a country, because no country's like that. No country has just people pouring in. Like they don't allow it. But we have to make it accessible for others to kind of come and work here and like contribute, and we should be accommodating that, you know?
The thing is, the country since inception has prided itself on being an open border country, like to
Yeah.
welcome everybody, you know, and we all are immigrants, all of us,
Yes.
unless you're Native American. So that's the thing that kills me, because now all of a sudden, oh, because there's, you know, too many people taking stuff away from us, and
But we've made it
now we
so
have to
hard,
close the borders.
for people to do it legally. That's part of the problem. Like we
But you
made it.
also can't kick them out illegally.
Oh yeah, no, I'm with you. So
Okay.
but I'm with you. But I'm trying to say is like, I think we need to make it more accessible for people to come and contribute and get legal. You know what I mean? So we can actually have some like facilitation of it, instead of making it like an impossible task for people to like come work here. And what like people have, I don't know, what my friends have had to go to, what I've seen that people have had to go to get legal citizenship it's nuts. But
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
is a safety issue from just literally having like transporting, you know what I mean, you know, having this rotating door that is flying through of we're just losing track, and you know what I mean. but I'm not an expert.
We need to have a better immigration system. Yeah, that's all it is. Everything goes back to the broken systems that we have in place. Everything.
Yeah. I'm on retrain police. I think that sometimes like they're also put in situations where they got scared. Like you know what I mean? Where somebody
I said that too, yeah.
They got shot, and I'm like
rookies, or not enough field experience.
Yeah, and and that's but I do think like the safety and like in having law enforcement, because like you say defund the police until you're somebody who needs a fucking cop.
Well, no, I have never said defund the police. Yeah, I've never been on board with that. I say defund the politicians. We need credible police. We need unbiased police. We need fair police. And follow the laws, then you need to follow the laws yourself. You need to set the example as the law officials.
Yeah, absolutely. And then thing I am very passionate about is our access to healthcare and our access to insurance, and what the insurance companies
systems.
It's terrible, and like a lot of the insurance companies, how they take advantage of the people who are really sick, and they put people into debt, and I've seen terrible things. I have had things happen in my own healthcare, and then I started to like save, and like I realized like I would get I got a high deductible set in my insurance, and at first like I am on a very expensive infusion every month for my immunodeficiency, and you would think so. The drug manufacturer, they try to make it like affordable, and they try to make it accessible for you, so they'll offer you like a healthcare copay assistance from the drug manufacturer. Okay, so listen to this. Listen to this.
Go ahead, girl.
Companies 1 year, they'll take that and they'll apply it to your copay. Okay, so then you meet your deductible, and that's great, and you're like, that's super helpful because it's thousands and thousands of dollars, right? And then the next year, and this is what they're starting to do, they will take that money from the drug manufacturer, get it paid, have it applied to your deductible. Thank you very much. Oh, by the way, your deductible's still not actually met until you also pay it. So I called the insurance company and like, you're getting paid twice, guys. And they do this to people all the time. They literally take the money from the drug manufacturer, and then they want you also to pay your one of many, many, many things that they pull to load their pockets and take advantage of people.
I don't have these problems, thank goodness, because I have VA insurance. So I don't pay a damn thing to go to the hospital.
I spent like an entire 48 hours, maybe more, calling the insurance company when I figured out that that's what they were doing the next year, and crawling up the ladder and being like, you know what you guys are doing? And then like I got to the top.
Good
and
for you for sticking up for yourself, though.
No, yeah, but they were like, yeah, we'll contact you. And then I had people being like, the reps being like, I've never had this phone call before. And I'm like, well, I don't think people really understand what you guys are doing, but you're literally stealing my money. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you're doing.
Like that's a justified argument. Well, I've never had this problem before.
They're like, I did people because they were like, they didn't know how to respond to me. They didn't know how to respond to me. And then they would pass me to their supervisor. And then I got to the top, and they would not get back to me.
Oh, no. Hell no. No, block that number. They probably did. They probably blocked the number.
They know me now. Do not call. But the issue is that then, like, they just have you. They don't have you. And until I think there's, like, actual societal and environmental
changes.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Yeah.
But I do have to run.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so
no.
sorry.
Thank you so much.
Anytime. Literally anytime. And like I said, I'm a little more free. So if you want to add more time, I'm happy to do it.
You kind of did like kind of send me down another path. Oh, shit. Oh, hello. But thank you so much for bringing me my grandmother. That was awesome and very unexpected. And I was like flustered the whole show after that. So thanks for that. No, I'm kidding.
I'm sorry. You did great. I know. I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you really did. You really flustered me with that.
But if you're feeling generous, send me the video clip of that and allow me to anonymously share it.
Yeah, I will. I totally will. Yes, this lady is real, people.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I respect what you're doing. Oh my gosh, keep growing, sweetheart. Thank you for everything.